Does a wine have to be expensive to be good? You know, the world seems stuck up in this thing. It's a thing perpetuated by the wine business itself, that if something's expensive, then it's good, right? I've had a lot of really crappy expensive things in my life. Could be food, could be wine, could be some clothes you wear that pay too much more and fell apart, and you're like, damn, right? Good is good. Now, price, charging a certain price, gives you the flexibility of creating something gooder, or as they say, more good. But say you don't have that flexibility. You just got great vineyards in Navarra. You got this wonderful, where multiple kind of, you got the Mediterranean, you got the continental climate, you got it all, it's meeting together in this wonderful, perfect spot. And then you plant a grape variety that is good in Rioja, but here it goes to a different level because of this conflagration of events. And you create something very special. And it's not expensive because we're in Spain, people. Now, granted, Spain does have its share of like $300 Napa chasing, type wines produced. More and more every day, it seems to be the way of things where people with lots of money that make wine charge lots of money for their wines because they can afford them, even though the rest of the world can't. In this case, we have a different situation. So this is Bodegas Agro Navarra. These guys are in Navarra, which, you guys know where Navarra is at? Okay, real quick, Navarra is north of Rioja. You're on your way from Rioja into kind of, San Sebastian, chocolatey country. You've gone over the Cantabrian Mountains, and you're in an area that receives more Atlantic influence from a weather standpoint. So it's a little cooler than it is in Rioja, but still warm enough to fully ripen grapes beautifully and create this wonderful assortment of beautiful wines from Navarra that always sell for a song. Now, Navarra is getting some run because there's a lot of great old vine Garnacha in Navarra, and there's a small group of really high-end, not high-end, that's wrong. The wines are high-end, the prices aren't, but quality-conscious, super artisan producers making top-flight wines in Navarra from Garnacha right now. But one of the grape varieties that hasn't been talked about in Navarra, which should be, is Graciano. And Graciano is one of those unheralded grape varieties that is a blending grape in the Rioja region, and is known for kind of providing a little, kind of like doing the Petit Verdot thing in Bordeaux. It gives the wines a little fuerte, you got a little more color, more shoulder, more structure to the Tempranillo, and just creates wines that's more huevos, capable of aging. Now, in Navarra, on its own, something deliciously different. In this cooler terroir, I dare say you get even finer tannins. One of the issues might be, if it's warmer, the grape skins can thicken and you can get a wine that's a little more almost like rustic. But in this cooler continental terroir, it's hot during the day, but you get these wonderful Atlantic winds coming through there in the afternoon. You get a Graciano of with a little different mojo to it. And so this is the Agramont Graciano 2021. This is one of the shocking wines in our tastings, right? So, companies get in touch with us all the time and they're like, hey, can we send you samples or something? Da-da-da-da-da-da. And we say, yeah, sure, go ahead and send samples. And 90% of the time, us, we're very picky. 90% of the time we tell these guys, yeah, it didn't work out, sorry, we'll pass, thanks, it's been fun, it's been real. But in this case, this was one of those wines where, like the Blanco de Tempranillo, that we did, just where you open the bottle and, and actually, by the way, we don't look at the pricing before we open the bottles. So one of the policies here is they'll send the samples, but then we'll look at pricing of the wine after we taste the wine, right? That way you're not biased. We don't want to be biased here. We just simply want to find the best gear regardless of price. Again, does great wine have to be expensive, right? We're consumers, we're drinkers. So for us, we taste, you mix the cut, then we have a look. And sometimes the price is like, eh. And sometimes the price is like, and this was an moment. So what else is there to tell about this wine? It's a great vintage in this neck of the woods. Graciano usually makes like these furry, kind of slightly chewy, maybe little rustic wines on their own in Rioja. There's a lot of Graciano bottled separately in Rioja as Rioja, produced from Graciano. But sometimes those wines just aren't that interesting. And here we have a like less is more situation. There isn't a lot of new oak. There's not a lot of bells and whistles here. This is just beautifully grown, mature vine Graciano from a top year from a very conscientious producer. Does it have to be difficult? Can't you just get lucky and grow some really kick-ass grapes, put them in some neutral barrels, then bottle it and the wine's outstanding? Yes. Yes, it can happen. It's right here. Now, the proof is in the pudding. This wine was sent off to Decanter for their World Wine Awards. This is the best wine competition, I think, in the world. Everything tasted blind, all master somms, masters of wines, experts in their fields, very critical when judging. And so the 2024 Decanter World Wine Awards, almost 15,000 wines were submitted. 150 received 97 points. So 1% of the grouping received the Decanter World Wine Awards highest score, which is 97. There's no 98s, no 99s, no 100s here, because this is panel tasting of top-notch folks. The general consensus to say everyone's going to give the wine 100 points is impossible. So 97 is like 100 for these guys. And guess which wine blind in the Spanish tasting got 97 points. Sorry, I said 100. 97 points for the smallest amount of money. The best value 97-point red wine in the Decanter World Wine Awards. And you're looking at it right here, the Agramont Graciano. And I can see why. This is an endearing wine with precision tannins. This is a beautiful drink. This is not a cheap wine. You know, in California now, a lot of folks are going to be using these staves, these chips, these enzymes, all these winemaking tricks to make this perception of their wine tasting more expensive than it actually is. When in fact, if you just left the damn thing alone, you can get something special. But in order to leave the damn thing alone, you need top flight fruit from the vineyard to produce it. And that's what happened here with the Agramont Graciano. This is a gorgeous expression of Graciano. Probably my favorite expression of Graciano since, my gosh, the old Val Serrano days, like late 90s, since I've had a Graciano that's this yummy at this kind of price. 97 points, Decanter World Wine Awards, tasted blind, platinum medal, top 1% in the competition, and the wine is $12. Shut the front door. $12 for this wine. So every time someone in California, oh, there's no way we can make a great wine under like $100. It's just impossible, you know, farming, Russian paratroopers. And then you taste a wine like this, which gets here, right? They made money. The importer made money. We made some money. And it's $12. My God. Long story short, there's 56 cases of this delicious 97-point elixir, Platinum Award Tasted Blind, Decanter World Wine Awards, available to you. I can verify and testify we tasted this wine prior to knowing its price. And yeah, we bought a nice chunk of it. One of the more impressive wines we tasted recently from our own blind tastings here in-house. What a wine for $12. What a pleasure and a treat it is to sell the Agramont Graciano 2021. Come and get some. It will go away. Thank you.